Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
So are we. We're excited to be here, kicking ourselves a little bit for agreeing to do this. I'm just kidding. Excited to share our story today because boy, do we have a story. We'll tell you all the good parts of it. So this is our second time coming to this conference. Last year we were in these exact chairs, but we were not live yet. We had signed the deal to start implementing Znode, but very much in the dark about what it would be like to be a customer. So I found the conference last year to be very exciting to learn from Znode customers, gain experiences from what's working from all of you, and I'm excited for the rest of the afternoon to continue hearing more stories. So today we're going to tell you our story of our journey from a one-sized e-commerce solution to a more personalized, industry-specific digital experience. Before we get into it, I want to... Clicker's not working. Sorry. I guess we'll just use this. Introduce ourselves a little bit, get to know who you're looking at right here. So I'm Jessie Adamczyk, the Director of Marketing and Ecommerce at Etna. I've been with the company just over a year now. So yes, this time last year I was very new to the company, but also to Znode. Prior to this, I have 15 years of experience working in various marketing roles. I worked for an e-commerce solution provider, not a competitor to Znode, but gave me kind of the backside view of how all of this works. I've worked with over 100 companies to help them optimize their digital solutions with a focus on growing revenue in a scalable way. I have a bachelor's degree from Michigan State, and go green. And then last year, I graduated from the University of Notre Dame with an executive MBA. So if you look at my little ones here, I was the busiest woman in the world during that time, but it was a really, really wonderful experience. So I'm married with 3 young girls. I have a very cool superpower, and I call it the power to copy and paste, because first I got twins. They're identical, literally copy and paste of each other, but also me when I was a child. And then we have a third daughter, and she, again, looks exactly like me. So I promise my husband was involved somehow, but he didn't get any of the genetics passed on. So, Deanne.
Let's see if this, okay. How did you turn it on? Okay, can you hear me? All right, my name is Deanne Walters, and I'm the digital product owner at Etna Supply. I've been in 24 years plus in marketing and e-commerce, and 10 of those years have been at Etna Supply. My role at Etna Supply was the front-end web developer, but when we had an opening for the back-end web back-end process, I decided to take on this role. So came into the project midway through, and then Jessie came in a little bit after that. So a little bit about me. I went to Western Michigan University, and if you follow men's hockey, we were the 2025 NCAA champions, so that was a big deal for our college. I think everybody and their brother was watching that game, and it was just a really good game to watch. And I heard the boo about the Michigan behind me, but that's where a lot of my income goes to for that girl right there. So you have to support where you pay the money, but we also sent my stepson to Michigan State too, so we're a house divided as well. But he wasn't there that day, and we needed a more updated picture of all of us as a family. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this new role because of my assistance with previous people doing this job before. I did have a unique perspective of how things were being done and the technical challenges that could happen with a platform migration. It didn't prepare me for some things, but it prepared me for a little bit of things. But as we go along and we started doing the project, we found out there were things we just didn't know. And you can't do that unless you just go through it, right? And you can prepare, and that's what it is. And by the way, I had been through 3 platform changes at Etna Supply, so and various people doing that role. So I kind of saw what was happening, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to take on this challenge. So that's me.
She took it on and did it right this time, I'll say. Thanks, Deanne.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Etna Supply Company is our flagship brand. We're a family of companies that represent 5 different subsidiaries, each with a unique target market and offering. Our flagship brand is what we're mostly going to be speaking today, as this is what we've launched on Znode 10. But you can see here we have other brands such as our Infusion, kitchen and bath showrooms. We are under development right now on Znode 10 and planning to launch that website next month. And at the same time we launched Etna Supply, we launched UTS Supply. So I want to show this just to understand the scope of this project. It wasn't just a e-commerce project and a quick one website implementation. It was very industry specific and laid the foundation for us to launch with our one website and then the next, and then continue to expand and bring all of our subsidiaries under Znode's powerful platform. So Etna Supply has been in business for 60 years now, and our mission is quite simple. It's to keep water moving and businesses running. We are a trusted partner to contractors, plumbers, engineers, very specialty municipal infrastructure people, and we try to simplify the sourcing of the products they need for essential industries like piping that goes under cities and brings clean water, all the way to, you see here, an interior designer who's picking out a luxury soaker tub. So very wide audience here that we have to tailor our marketing efforts, all of our digital content to reach those various personas. You'll also see here we have someone installing some fire protection equipment. I don't see any, but I usually do see it in commercial buildings. Now that I'm in the industry, I look for that kind of thing. Procurement officers are very much so involved with our e-commerce processes. They're the back office ladies oftentimes who are ordering 1,000 line item orders, restocking their warehouses with our supplies so that their plumbers can come in the morning, grab what they need, and go out to their jobs. So very unique use cases. Our go-to-market strategy is truly an omni-channel experience. So we have 23 branch locations throughout the Midwest, and then the one outlier in Oklahoma City. And we're blending that now with our growing digital experience. Besides our physical locations where customers can shop and we operate as distribution centers, we have 7 kitchen and bath showrooms. And like I had said, the audience for that is not oftentimes the plumber. It's the interior designer who's helping someone build a $10 million home on Lake Michigan. So very, very different style of marketing that we cater to them. We have a very large direct sales team in all of our geographies, and they are working hands-on with our customers, of course, building relationships. But more importantly, facilitating that repeat business. They're taking orders via phone, email, text, you name it, to get their customers, sometimes when they're on the road or on the job location. Our online presence is growing. Right now we have 6 websites live, 3 of them being more of an e-commerce nature. EtnaSupply.com and UTSSupply.com are on Znode 10 today. And like I said, Infusion, our showrooms are under development. We are a main distributor for over 500 brands. So some of them might be the household names you know, like Kohler here in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, of course, in Wisconsin, that's the power tools. Delta,
Bradley.
Bradley.
Lots.
numerous names. So beyond the 500 brand partnerships, each of them have their long line of products. So right now we have over 40,000 products live on our website, and we sell through our physical presence and sales channels about 150,000.
So here are the digital order processes that we have. Of course, we have our e-commerce website. We have about over 15,000 sessions per week on this website. It is a website that a customer needs to have an account with us in order to see pricing and inventory and all of that. We also have our mobile app, which is run through Mobilico. The mobile app acts as another website platform. It functions just like your, if you were online on your computer. It functions both ways. So we have both that, and the Znode 10 is a mobile version of the website itself. But we had to come to our customers with different options just so that the ordering process was the easiest way they could get to it. And before we had a mobile app when we moved from the old platform, so we made sure we had a mobile app for this new platform as well. We also make it easier for our customers to order. Our customers aren't always the most tech savvy people. Searching can be hard. Sometimes there's just too many choices. They just want a 2-inch pipe, and it just needs to be this 1 2-inch pipe. They don't need to see 10 options for it. But so what happens is our customer comes to us and says, okay, here's a list of products that we order from you all the time. Can you please put it in a physical catalog, or can you barcode it for us? And so we do that for them. Our barcodes and catalogs give them the description. It gives them a picture and our part number. And of course, we put our logo on it because if they're going to put it in their shop, we want to make sure that it says Etna all over it, that they know that's who they're ordering it from. And so they can use the mobile app or the website and scan that barcode, and their order goes in and it's just on, and it makes life much easier for them. So we will go into their shop or their warehouse and barcode the whole warehouse for them. And we have a process that, I know it sounds like cumbersome, but it really isn't. The process we have goes pretty quickly now. We have a master list and we can just feed it through, and it works well. And we also have customers that are on consignment. So we do this barcoding for them too, because it helps with inventory control. So we know that we can charge them for the product that's been sitting in their warehouse. So it just some checks and balances that help us out a lot too.
Yeah. It's important we meet customers where they are.
Yep.
So thanks, Jan. So our MarTech stack, I think it's always interesting to hear all the other tools that companies use. So here are some tools that power our digital processes at Etna. On the analytics and feedback side, the obvious one, Google Analytics 4. But one I've grown quite fond of is Microsoft Clarity. For those of you who don't know about it or use it, it's a free tool, and it essentially shows us hotspots of how customers are behaving on our website. It records videos anonymously, and then my favorite feature is it has a stat called rage clicks. So in our industry where people aren't very tech savvy, that's something I really pay attention to, is the rage clicks. And you think that's when someone's frustrated and the website's not doing whatever they want it to do. So I will watch those videos of someone tapping 100 times on a button and try to think, okay, how can we make this easier? Focus is our BI tool that we use for reporting. Throughout the whole entire company, it's tied directly with our ERP system. For web platforms, obviously we're here because we use Znode, but our 3 informational websites that we have are produce with WordPress for now.
Just not time to move it over yet. So, our product data, we are a part of affiliated distributors. It's a buying group, but they have their own PIM, which manufacturers have given all the product data, images, documents, all that good spec stuff that you need to display on your website well. So I love the AD PIM. It's great as long as the products are there. But they've enhanced it a lot. It helps us tremendously with getting data quickly. We're adding products all the time, every day. So this makes my job a lot easier. We use Epicor. Eclipse is the version of Epicor we use. That's our ERP system. That's for inventory, customer information. That's where all the products are stored, pricing, and all that type of stuff. So Epicor and Znode, we use an API to tie those things together. So there's that. And then DataX is another source we use to get data that we can't get through the ADPIM. They actually work very closely with affiliated distributors. So I think them knowing the stuff that we want to have information on, that maybe they can negotiate with AD to like, hey, can we get some more of this information in? Or the information isn't coming in fast enough, that type of stuff. So manufacturers are coming out with new products all the time, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything, but this is a great source for us.
Yeah. So how many of you are dealing with product data that's very incomplete, missing images, missing spec sheets, dimensions, all of that? It's a common problem in the industry. So when we started this project with Znode, that's something we paid very close attention to optimizing. We probably could have spent 2 years doing this. If we wanted it perfect, we chose to do the best we could with the time we had, and Deanne made a really big
continuous.
difference.
It's every day. It's never going to be never ending, I think. So, yeah.
Some other notable integrations we have, I'm a big fan of HubSpot. So we use HubSpot as a traditional CRM tool. As Deanne had mentioned, our Znode website, in order for customers to see pricing and inventory at each of our branches, they need to have a login. We tie that login in multiple ways. One is to our ERP system, because our customers all have very unique pricing. And this account login is also then passed back to HubSpot so we can retain that customer information. We have event tracking throughout our website to see how customers are behaving on our website, and so that we can really use that data to power our marketing campaigns and our customer service hub. Deanne had mentioned Moblico. That's also very tied closely with Znode. So people using our mobile apps are going to experience something very, very close to what they would find on the website.
So why did we move from one platform to another? Etna's growing. Since I've been at Etna, I think we've opened 4 new branches, 2 new showrooms. The technology is advancing at Etna. We're growing, and we needed our web platform to grow with us. We couldn't just have something that didn't show all the tech we're working on in the background. It had to show up front as well. So we had project enhancement tickets that just kind of seemed to just sit there, and there was no working on how we're going to make these tickets work. When I took on the project, I had looked back and there were still some from 2020. So there was just kind of a lack of developmental roadmap. Like here, okay, we're moving from this platform to this platform. Things like that weren't happening. We weren't seeing anything that was going to excite us and make us want to stay with the current platform. We also would have issues with just operational issues. Something would happen, and it was hard to get a hold of someone and say, hey, the website's down. What are you going to do? What's the plan? What's happening? Do you know what happened? Sometimes it would take quite a bit of time. And that's embarrassing when someone's logging onto your website. And what do you tell a customer? I don't know what's wrong. Like that, so it was hard for a while there you just need to know you have someone. And then there was, which we all know, site search is a big deal. And there wasn't we had limitations as to how we could make search work. There wasn't a lot of like, here, let's fuss with this, let's fuss with that type of thing. And then there was no roadmap of, well, we're going to incorporate new technology into making this work for you. Just a lot of that type of stuff. And then the CMS had limitations. I fortunately knew HTML, but I couldn't just send anybody in there to make a page change half the time. It was a WYSIWYG editor, but it was clunky when you would edit something for UTS. It would take on the CSS for the Etna website, so colors were all weird and would do stuff like that. So it was a clunky situation. We had both stores on that one, UTS and Etna, but it didn't act as separate stores. It was the same store, and you had to do a lot of spreadsheets to say, okay, this shows up here, that shows up there. But when you were going to edit just a simple page, you wanted to put a link in, you had to code it. So thankfully I could help with that type of stuff. And then our website speed issues. We'd get to a point where it would be great, and then all of a sudden it would just drop down again. And it was just not informing us that there were upgrades being done in the background, and what they had done was revert to issues we had before. So there was a lot of going back and forth and all that kind of stuff that would affect our speed issues and make our customers a little upset too. So, so the project itself, Jessie and I were not the original people that started the project off. We came in towards the end. And the people that started the project off are no longer with the company. But I was a part of some of the conversations. So finally in late 2023, with the Etna board, and said, yes, we're gonna give you the money to do this. So go out, do your search for vendors. So they started doing that, and they looked at the different platforms and did all the demos and stuff. So there was lots of months of going through that, and then we signed with Znode. So after we signed with Znode, I kind of came in at this point, and we had to do a lot of taxonomy updates. Our product catalog, that's the word. Product catalog was kind of all over the place. You had some of the same items in different parts of the catalog. We needed to consolidate it. It needed to make more sense for our customers, that type of thing. So if they were going to search that way, it would be easier to funnel down. We worked with DataX on that, and that took quite a bit of time, because you kind of have to also plan for things that you might have in the future as well. We had to do, like we talked about, a lot of product enhancements. There were products in there that shouldn't even been in the PIM because they're purged and deleted. So we had to go through all that and get those removed. We also had to do that in the AD PIM as well, that hadn't been maintained in years. And you're not going to get good data if you don't have your product stuff right. Also with customers, we learned kind of the hard way that the customers weren't completely set up correctly in the old website. They didn't have that parent-child relationship. So I think our old web platform compensated for that and did some coding, but that reared its ugly head when we moved to Znode, because those relationships needed to be correctly done. So it's a lot of account data. We picked, we didn't want to bring everybody over because obviously not everybody's using the website. We had to say, okay, if you haven't been on our site ordering or logging in for 18 months, we're going to not bring you over. Obviously, if you come, we'll add you back in, because the data was vast. And there was a lot of bad data from we opened up the world at one time to let anybody sign up to get on our website. But if they're not in our territory, they can't buy from us. So there was a lot of just cleanup that way and making sure everybody's accounts were set up correctly. And every once in a while it rears its ugly head and we fix it, but now we know what's happening too. And then we originally planned to launch December of 2024, but we were fortunate enough to be included in the Znode 10 release, being one of the first people to be on it. So that delayed it. And so we started the next year.
So as Deanne says, we planned to go live in December. That was our the leaders who came before Deanne and I had set that project milestones, and that was the date that they had in mind. We actually went live in May 2025. I think that's a good reminder to just realize that these type of IT projects can be a roller coaster, and that's okay. We made a decision to do it right. I'm really glad at this point that we are on Znode 10, so we're not sitting here thinking about the next upgrade already, because that was enough to give us some gray hairs.
Yeah.
But in the end, we ended up taking a little bit of a step back as a marketing team and thinking about, hey, we're not just going to copy and paste our old website over. All the content pages needed a complete overhaul to make sure that we were using a really great, strong brand voice, and that we were reaching our target market with very dedicated SEO-rich content. So we overhauled everything, completely redid all of our static marketing pages throughout the website, and made a long-term plan there of how we're going to continuously optimize. So we got the logins for the Znode 10 admin panel, I remember February 21st, and we had put this great plan together that we were going to start the UAT testing during that time. Well, I didn't account for it. Hey, we redesigned all these pages, but we have to actually implement them. So thankfully we had amazing assistance from Walter here in helping us get some of our pages live, because the CMS tool, we'll talk a little bit about later, was really new. So the UAT team that we put together was 18 individuals, representing all areas of the business across Etna and subsidiaries. I did this on purpose, not because I wanted to manage 100 people, but because in my experience, the more we involve people and bring them along for the journey, they have a vested interest in its success. So I was hoping they would be a part of it and then tell all of their coworkers how wonderful it is and how we need to, get our customers excited about this. We planned for 4 weeks, 2 weeks of very intense UAT testing across all the e-commerce functionality of the website, because as I said, we didn't have all the CMS pages built yet, so they couldn't really test that part. And then we planned 2 weeks for any bug fixes and retesting and that sort of thing. It didn't work out that way. It ended up being May 13th that we went live, so much longer than 4 weeks. There's a bunch of reasons for that. Some of those 18 people didn't participate, and there's a lot of kicking and screaming there. It's the nature of the game.
But we also found out people that weren't part of that group that are more helpful now with things that are happening too because of it. So you live and learn.
Yeah, and I think this is also a lesson learned for me. I was very, very new to the organization. So within kind of my 90-day mark, I was having to identify the right people, and I didn't know the culture. So a lot of people at Etna viewed this as, it's just an e-commerce team project. We don't need to worry about that. When in reality, we could have probably taken a year just to get that culture shift within the organization that, no, this is a very important strategic corporate initiative that we want to make to invest in our future as a company, in becoming more digitally savvy, digitally enhanced, and being able to meet our future customers, because this type of trade professional is really changing over. We're getting a lot of plumbers in their retirement age who are passing the business on to their 22-year-old child.
who is born in the technology age and is having really high expectations of how a website and mobile app should function.
So on to the good stuff. Here is a snapshot behind the curtain at the CMS page builder within the Znode panel. So the Znode 10 page builder offered us significant usability improvements from what we had experienced before. So if I could really do a live demo for you, I would, but all of the features to the left are drag and drop, pull them into the website, and you don't have to do any coding in order to make them function. But some things we really like as a marketing team are the banner sliders. We can program them to turn on and off at a certain date that lines up with our promotions. We can promote different products, and we have relationships with our brands that require that we're promoting certain product lines over others. And if we feature a product on our homepage, that ties directly into the product description page where they can put it in their cart and check out. What are some other great things we've worked on through here?
Well, you guys were smart. I haven't actually touched the front end, which is really weird for me, but but I think what I saw, it was just not clunky at all. It was a lot easier. It didn't take a lot to figure out how to do it once you knew how to do it, and doing page after page since you've done it was a lot easier. There wasn't like, oh my gosh, this color isn't coming out right and all that kind of stuff too.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Tailwind.
Tailwind? I'm not familiar.
You said it was clunky.
Oh, the one before, the old one before.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're using Tailwind.
Yeah. Well, this was the old one, not our old web platform. Yeah.
Actually, this platform uses Tailwind for styling.
Okay.
But the important thing here is I am not a web coder. I do know a little bit of HTML and CSS. I used it very, very little, maybe to put an iframe in here or there, but this can be done by a marketing professional, an IT professional, and it gives us a long-term strategy that we can continue to enhance our marketing content, chug out new pages, and a blog is planned for the future, and so on and so forth.
So this is our website. When we switched over, we had to make sure that we communicated well with our customers, that they needed to activate their account, because obviously we're not going to bring their passwords over. It's not a possibility. So we communicated with them, and that's why we have like the to activate your account or create a new account. We had a different banner at the time, but we tried to put it in front of their face like, hey, you can't just log in this first time you go into the account. So it was great. We actually had like a scrolling thing at the top too to say, if you haven't activated your account, you need to click this here and stuff. It worked for a lot of people, but there's those customers that just don't read email or anything like that. And so we got, I can't get into my account today. And you had to do all the emails back and say, yes, please click here and you need to activate your account, because it just looked seamless to them. They didn't know that they saw something different, but they didn't know it was different. So they just realized it was a little bit cleaner and that kind of thing, and they just thought they were on the same website they usually were on. We have a sign-in, obviously, for accounts and all that stuff. The customers can get their invoices and bids, and they can roll their bids into orders, that type of thing. They can see all their job accounts. They can also select what location they'd like to pick up from. We have what's called Etna Express that they can just order and then pick it up when they're ready to pick it up. But yeah, we just cleaned up a little bit. There was just a lot up on the top, and we made it cleaner for our customers so that they can just go right in, search, or go through the categories and order.
Thank you.
So, site search. There are a lot of people working on site search around here. It's an ongoing thing, and it's not an exact science. I haven't done site search on our website. We have Shane, our search guru, and Walter, who's been very helpful with site search. So I will do my best to explain what they've been working on. But I do recommend, if you have an intern that turns out to be really good, hire him, because he will save your butt. So I was so thankful Shane came on board, because I don't know if I could do all of it at once. So search is a beast, and he's really good at it. And I told him before I went up here, I'll do my best to explain what they've been working on. So we've improved search for dimensions. Dimensions are a big deal. It's the 2-inch by 10 feet thing. Our customers will either type it in with spaces, 2-inch space by space 10 feet, or they just clump it together. We also had products that were listed that way too that we needed to clean up as well.
Inch could be IN, it could be
Yes.
colons, it could be not in there at all.
Yeah.
And we had to really think of all the different ways a product could be searched. And then you see up here, we can make synonyms for different words, because some people call something one thing, and then in the UP of Michigan, they might call that part something completely different. So Shane was able to help us put all of that into the back end.
Yeah, there was a lot of trial and error and a lot of that, but we're at a good place now for that. Small words too were one that we had a harder time with as well. We had to change the n-gram from 3 to 1 for things like 2 inches. If it had too much, stuff wouldn't come up the way that Shane wanted it to. He can probably explain that better to you. That one's hard for me to concept because I haven't done it myself. But we also had to resolve, like Jessie said, for character and symbol issues. People use the quotation marks or the apostrophe for inches, or let's say they just copy and paste Kohler with a registered trademark. We needed, anytime someone did that they would get the results that they wanted, whether they did inches or feet. If they didn't do the Kohler with a registered trademark, they should get all of the Kohler stuff. It was just a lot of doing the synonyms for that and making sure those would work and compensating for that. So we boosted some search result relevance too, which was important for us, especially when someone types in a part number. If you're going to type in 4196, you better have 4196 be the first one you come up with, not all the other products that might have those numbers in there. So we're at a point now where we're getting those results right away. We also have this thing where people can make a My List as well. So if they are typing those numbers in the My List, those things need to come up right away, because they don't want to search 100 numbers down to get to the 4196. That can be very frustrating for them. Brand names too, if they're typing in brand names, they should get those brand names come up. Categories, if they're typing in a tub or toilet, a tub and a toilet better show up. So also that goes along with synonyms, like Jessie was talking about. We have customers, because of the years of them being in the business, they would type in lav, and they're looking for a sink. So we had to do those synonyms and make it bidirectional. So if you say sink, it can also mean lav, it can mean lavatory, or whatever other term there is out there that someone has told us about. We learned about a lot of terms we didn't know, but every place has its terms for things. So there's some things just from being in the industry for 10 years, but we encourage our salespeople to let us know all that type of stuff. So, yeah.
So every complex B2B project is going to have its fair share of highs and lows. It's really great as we're done, we're live, to step back and really reflect on what went well and what could we do better next time, and what could I share with all of you to do better once you take on a project of this scale. The biggest one was the launch day collaboration between our 5 core project members within Etna and the implementation team that we had. We started our launch at 11 p.m. with the hard deadline of our customers are up and ordering at 7 a.m. So we had to be live or make the choice to revert back. I think we all signed off the call at 4 a.m. that day. We were live. It went well. We got a little bit of sleep and then got up and started facilitating the calls from the customers who didn't read their email and what to do.
Yep.
But it was a big success. We were really excited. We got some initial feedback from customers and we were able to respond to that. And I felt like, we're getting a little more agile. We released our change order number 1. I think we're on 6 now of new things that we've continuously developed and enhanced since our MVP release in May. On the low side, it's, we don't know what we don't know. That's going to happen. But I think a lot of it comes from that incomplete foundation. As Deanne mentioned, we had a big leadership change and a lot of documentation of why and how and when. So we had to roll with it. Deanne, she's amazing. She stepped up, took the reins of this project, and overhauled all of our customer data, our product data. I stepped into the project midway and had to balance out needing to make an immediate impact to relieve her, but also putting in a strategic plan from the marketing and technology side to make sure that this wasn't just a one and done. This is a continuous process that we need to do to support all of our brands. So we missed some requirements. One of them were the non-transactional customers. Honestly, we didn't think as much about them as we could have. So the example there is customers who log into our website to check their invoices. Maybe they're building a cart to see the pricing or inventory availability, but they're not actually buying. They're then calling their sales rep and placing the order. This is something we have to change, and that's part of the strategy. But when their invoice history didn't go back far enough or work to their satisfaction, they were very upset and very vocal. And that was a low. It was a big lesson learned. The other one I alluded to earlier was that internal strategic alignment is taking the time to make sure you get that right. And that comes with any leadership position of change management. It's not a one and done process. You've got to make sure you've got a powerhouse of company leadership behind you on a project of this scale. So looking ahead, we're 4 months in. We want to take our early learnings and continue to make a more seamless digital experience for our customers. We've got another big launch coming up next month, and then continuous enhancements and fine-tuning of search, bringing on new payment methods, some operational excellence tasks that we have, like helping customers when they create a PO on their own procurement side of turning that digitally into an order without having to call customer service or their sales rep. Just making things as easy as possible. The gist of this journey is we built a foundation, and we're really excited of our partnership with Znode and all that we can continue to enhance in the future. All of the pain points that we felt with our previous vendor have been much alleviated, and we feel very confident that we have the support that we need to continue to grow and enhance and serve our customers better. So thank you so much for your time today. Deanne and I would love to take questions.